Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hacking Self-Storage. It's Wednesday morning. I've been really looking forward to this episode because we get to dive deep into the figures and previous. This is why it's so important to look and take note of your figures, because then historically we can have a look and compare and contrast what we are doing now and then make decisions moving forward based on actual data rather than just, oh yeah, the news says it's going to be bad or whatever. And by the way, do you like my background now? I've got all my England flags up. I've got my Christmas tree. Oh, oh, it's brilliant. I love it. What a time of a year. Two things. Number one, many of you. Well, I've sent a self-storage buying letter to every self-storage company in the UK. I never thought I'd get so many responses. So if you haven't heard back from me, by the way, and you rang me yesterday, I will get back in touch with you. I've got tons of calls today with listeners. Really looking forward to that, helping people out. Looking forward to the first one as well. And so, yeah, I've had so many interesting conversations. So many. I've had conversations with somebody who is divorced and the self-storage is in her husband's name, but she wants to sell it to me. I'm like, I can't buy it because get me out of here. And yeah, I've had so many really fascinating stories. I've met some brilliant business people who want to sell the self-storage, or some people just touch base to have a chat. It was incredible yesterday. It was like phone went down, another phone call. It was crazy. And we've got, at the minute, I reckon there's two potentials that we're looking at seriously, and I'm looking forward to getting in touch with people again, probably tomorrow for the previous calls that I missed. I'm sure I'll get more calls today as well. So yeah, really good there. And today I am speaking to listeners back to back. And by the way, I want to apologize to my good friend Jim Ross in America. I haven't contacted you yet, Jim, but I thought I only had my diary open on a Wednesday, but you sneaky slibbery little sucker, you managed to get in Tuesday. And I didn't know it was Tuesday, so I just presumed it was Wednesday that he was coming in. And so I missed that call. So I apologize, Jim. You booked 4:00 on Tuesday, and I just presumed that everybody booked on Wednesday because that's the day I said I was available. And my fault, because my diary was I don't really use Calendly. My diary was open on a bloody Tuesday, and Jim, you booked it. So massive apologies, mate. My fault. Okay, so today, really excited. And so let's set the stall. I believe that from listening to the podcast, people are looking at at last year's results and the year before and comparing them. So they're comparing 2021 and 2020 with 2022. You can't do that because it's all flip side. Every single industry that I know got impacted negatively or positively with COVID. So yes, look at them, analyze them figures, but what we really need to do is compare and contrast the figures from 2019, 2018, and then we can make like for like, because I don't think it's a like for like comparison if we're comparing COVID times to non-COVID times, hopefully non-COVID times. I was actually speaking to somebody in the NHS, and she was saying that the flu is worse this year than COVID. So hopefully we're out of that absolute debacle. Won't even get me started on that. So in quarter four, 2021, I'll just go high level. We brought in 17,900 square foot, but we lost overall in the quarter 2,265 square foot. A lot of that was to do with the COVID people moving out. So people came during COVID and then they started to move out. So we actually lost 20,000 square foot in 2021, actually moved out, not lost, but moved out. And by the way, that was the most move outs that we have ever had in a quarter. That was quarter four, 2021, 20,000. That's an average. What is it? 6,000, over 6,000, 6,300, I don't know, 6,400, whatever. It was a lot a month average. So that obviously was upsetting. However, if we look back at quarter four, 2021, we had 15,545 square foot moved in, and we gained 2,420. So only 13,125 square foot moved out. So we gained there in quarter four, 2020. Quarter four, by the way, is December, November, and October. I said it backwards then. I'm pretty impressed with myself. I can say it backwards. And so that's high level. It's high ins, high outs. This is, by the way, just for one site. It's not for the site for across the board. 2019 quarter four, completely different. We had 106 move-ins compared to 148 the year after, 2020, and 195 in 2021. So only 106 move-ins for 8,945 square foot. We had 11,330 move out. So we actually lost 2,415 square foot in quarter four. I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee. In quarter four, 2018, we moved in 113 move-ins. Oh, sorry, the reservations. Sorry, my bad. So it was so in 2019 it was 93 move-ins. In 2020 it was 140 move-ins, and 2021 it was 163 move-ins, and 2018 was 134 move-ins. So quarter four 2019 was particularly poor. In terms of move-ins. I don't know what happened. It wasn't because of a pandemic, because that didn't happen until March next year. I don't believe. I get the dates wrong, don't you? But the square foot moved in was 10,110 square foot moved in. Square foot moved out was 10,110 square foot moved in, 12,300 square foot moved out. So we lost 2,190. So a very, very high level. 2018, we lost in quarter four, 2,190. 2019, we lost 2,415. In 2020, we gained 2,420. And then in 2021, we lost 2,265. So hopefully you don't mind me going through all these figures. I know it's boring to some people, but for me, this is like storage porn. You what? I love it. Right. Is there any more information I've got on this document here that I can perhaps tell you? I wonder if I can tell you takings really high level really quickly. Yeah, but not really, because obviously the more in quarter three 2018 our takings was 95,705. Then 96,000. I did quarter three there. So quarter four 2018 96,700. Those are all quarter fours. 2019 was 114,321. 2020 was 155,616, and 2020 was 221,171. So you can see some massive jumps. When I read this, I feel really, really bad, because obviously we had a COVID bump and we stabilized, and my sister's lost a business, and you can see the impact that we had from 2000. And by the way, we was a site growing all the time. We grew a lot quicker during COVID. And so in 4 years, we've gone from 96,000 to 221,000 takings. And that obviously is a majority go straight to the bottom line because of your fixed costs, really. A lot of your costs in self-storage are fixed no matter how many people you get, how many people you've got to move in. Maybe an extra person may be needed. Right, let's have a look at the data this year then, because I think that is so critical and important. So at the minute, we was 1,455 square foot up in October. And at the minute, we're about 200 square foot down in November. So as a whole, you can see that 3 out of the 4 years, we lost over 2,000 square foot in quarter four. And at the minute, we're 1,200 square foot up, and we're well past half. So I would suggest that we are going to end this quarter in a positive. I'll be devastated now. Devastated. Let's go for it. I'll be devastated if we didn't. And I expect us to end it in a positive way. So let's have a look how many square foot moved in. Is this a square foot? Yep. So square foot moved in October 2022 was 5,195. If we compare that to October 2021, it was 6,715. But obviously that was COVID. And if we compare that to October 2020, still COVID, we moved in 4,335. So we're actually at bigger levels for move-ins than we was during COVID in October. And we all was, holy shit, this is amazing during COVID. And if we go to 2019, when there wasn't any COVID in October, it was 3,410 square foot moved in October 2019. In October 2022, it's 5,195. That is a massive, massive increase. Sorry, having a swig of tea as well. And so I think we've got to make decisions based on data. And I was talking to Laura, the pay-per-clicks queen, and I was saying that I was asking her how is she seen it across the industry. And she sent me this great little graph and said pre-COVID levels of inquiries, searches on Google for self-storage. And it was, I've mentioned this on the podcast before, it was whatever, I can't remember what it was. But during COVID, it times by 4. It increased by 4. But not only that, it's never ever dropped below that level again. So it's maintained. So we're almost 4 times, people are almost searching 4 times more, 400% more for self-storage now than there was pre-COVID. So whatever's happened during COVID has continued this bump. And yes, there's all this worry, etc., about the economic climate, the cost of living, but all we can look at is the data, is the data, is the data. People are still moving in, people are still reserving. This month, we're probably going to do around about 4,700 square foot of move-ins in November. Let's have a look at the data. So let's say we do 4,700. November 21, it was 7,350. Bonkers, absolutely bonkers. In November 2020, was 5,405, so not too dissimilar. But in November 2019, it was 3,550. So yes, it is slowing slightly, but don't forget, it was the seasons was almost flip-flops upside down because people were moving in the winter because of lockdowns, etc. So it was the seasons wasn't really the seasons in self-storage in the past 2 years. It's getting more seasonal again. And so even though it's going more seasonal again, we're still nearly at the levels of 2020 pre-COVID, in COVID, sorry. And if you compare it to pre-COVID, it was 3,550. If we look to December 2019, we only moved in 1,985 square foot. 1,985 square foot. We should easily do that in this next December. So I don't know if there's anything else I can show you guys. Anything else that I'm interested in? Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll tell you December 2019, what we ended on square footage occupied. December, that's 2020, December 2019. Right, let's have a look. So we ended 73% full, I think it is, or 71% full. It's one tab for square foot and one tab for units. Anyway, but what I can definitely tell you is that we ended 19,480 square foot occupied. We are currently 33,400 square foot occupied. Again, makes me feel bad because we've crushed it. We have, as an industry, we've bloody crushed it during COVID. And we're not good. We're just lucky that COVID has positively affected our industry. We could have easily been in a sector, an industry where it decimated it. And I still feel guilty. I still feel guilty that the fact that we've been very, 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 very lucky, haven't we? So yeah, at the minute we're 84% full, and back then we were 73% full or whatever. And we've added more units, more containers, etc. So the levels, the occupancy will be different because obviously we've added more square footage, so the percentage will be different. So yeah, overall, I'm really bullish about self-storage. I mean, I shouldn't be telling you all this because I'm trying to buy you self-storage because I'm hoping that people are fearful. And by the way, if you listen to this podcast, you're probably an operator that I can't improve as much as somebody who I love the fact when I talk to somebody who doesn't know the podcast, not because I think, oh my God, you should listen to me, but because it's about self-development, and life is about self-development and improving all the time. And if you're looking and listening to a podcast about self-storage, then obviously in other aspects of life, it's going to come out where you want to self-develop and better and improve your self-storage. And so, yeah, I really am bullish about the industry. Obviously, it's very, very early days about this cost of living crisis, so we don't really know how it's going to plan out. But all we can do is look at the data as the data, look at the reservations, look at the quotes, look at the move-ins, look at the square foot, and compare and contrast to previous years. And we are well up. We are well up. And so we've got every reason to be positive. And yes, I did a podcast not so long ago saying winter is coming, and we've got to keep our eyes open. Of course we do. We've got to keep our eyes on the horizon just to see if we can have any lagging indicators to see that there's troubled times ahead. And then obviously, if there is, if I see anything that I'm worried about in the future or any sort of indications, then yes, we will stop. We will look at our situation and we'll reevaluate. Do we want to expand? Do we want to buy? And so, yeah, at the minute, I'm super excited. I think it's a really, really solid industry to be in, and hopefully showing you these figures has showed you that yes, COVID was a bump, but we're still above pre-level COVID figures. All right, my friends, I'm out of here. Love you, appreciate you, and I'll see you on Friday. Bye.